Hello guys and welcome to another Pokemon TCG video. So today I am actually going to be announcing the winner of my first giveaway that I had in my first video where I was giving the winner of the giveaway a full art Colress or a 10 random booster packs which I will give them. So without further ado, the winner of the giveaway is the YouTube username who goes by Bobby Stevens, and his PTCG username I believe is Sizzlack123. First of all, I want to thank you guys for the amazing turnout at the number of people who actually wanted to participate in this giveaway. So we actually had 33 people um, entered into this contest, and so just because of that, just because of the awesome turnout and the fact that I've already had a much larger number of views to my YouTube videos that I actually could have ever possibly imagined. I want to thank you guys, and I'm also going to be hosting another giveaway. And I essentially what this one is I'm going to be giving small hints, and I have two favorite Pokemon that I would like you guys to try and guess what it is. But for more information, just please make sure you carefully read the video description that I post up, because if you don't follow the rules carefully, you're immediately going to be disqualified. So just make sure you pay attention to that. And yeah, so I think this is going to be another little fun giveaway. So I'm essentially possibly going to be giving out a total of 4 random booster packs, and 2 for the person who's able to guess my first favorite Pokemon correctly, and 2 for the other person who's able to guess my other favorite Pokemon correctly. Alright, so without further ado, today I am going to be answering a few questions posted to me by a user. So one of the questions that they had actually asked me is what cards are crucial to have in any deck. So essentially the best and most useful cards that every single Pokemon TCGO deck should always have are a lot of draw support cards. So for example, Professor Juniper is always a very crucial card to have in any deck, as is the trainer card N, which is a very useful supporter card to have, and it can work both to limit the number of cards in your opponent's hands and to increase the number of cards in your hand. Another useful card to have, of course, is Colress. Very good card to have for that extra draw support. Some other cards that I feel are crucial and that every deck should actually have are Ultra Ball, because they allow you to get for example, the very crucial Pokemon that you need in play. So this is also a very important card you have regardless of what type of deck you're running. As are Muscle Bands, because you want to be able to dish out as much damage as you can to your opponent's Pokemon, and you definitely want to do that as early as possible. So yeah, so those are the cards that I feel every deck should have. With respects to the other cards that a deck should have, it really depends on the deck layout, but on deck layout, because I can't, because even though, say for example, Floatstone might work well in the current deck that I'm using, it may work very poorly in another deck that, say for example, runs Pokemon that just generally have very few or no retreat costs. So it really depends on what type of deck you're running. So I can't necessarily say one card is going to be effective in all decks, but definitely cards that provide a lot of draw support, such as N, Professor Juniper, and Colress, even Bicycle as well, are very important cards to have in any deck. So another question that I was asked is what types of team decks do I actually recommend you buy? On a personal level, I don't necessarily buy any of the team decks, but I will say that a lot of the team decks actually come with very crucial and important cards that you can have. So, for example, there's one team deck that comes with Yveltal, and it cost is, although the price is a little bit expensive at 500, you know that you will be getting certain cards that are important. So, Yveltal is a very crucial card to have in the Yveltal-ex deck that I'm going to be running today. So yeah, so it really depends on what type of deck you're running. That's more or less all I can say. But on a personal level, I will say that I've never purchased a team deck. But then again, I've definitely found that some of the team decks can be extremely beneficial to buy, especially if you're looking for a specific card and you know that that team deck has that specific card. Then absolutely go ahead and buy that deck. I was also talked to I was also asked to discuss the current meta, but I mean, there's not too much to discuss. Essentially, But I mean, what I will be going over is I'm going to be going over some very popular and powerful decks within the current meta. So for example, some popular decks that are very common right now are Yveltal-ex and Garbodor combinations, Seismitoad-ex and Mewtwo-ex combinations, variations of Virgin decks that often include Raichu, of course Donphan decks, which have been taking a lot of people actually by surprise. Yeah, so those types of decks. Plasma decks are actually also pretty popular. But yeah, so that's more or less it. I'm going to be hopefully giving you guys some breakdowns of these decks within the next couple of days, and I'm going to be demonstrating how effective or powerful they can actually be in battle, especially if you're able to build yourself a proper deck. So with that being said, I am now going to be discussing the current deck that we'll be running today. So the current deck is sort of going to be revolving around our big guy right over here, Seismitoad-ex, and his attack that we're going to be using is Quaking Punch. So Quaking Punch on its own doesn't do a lot of damage. It's only 30 damage that it does, but its effect is extremely powerful in that it prevents our opponent from using any item cards from their hand. Although it may not seem that powerful, believe me, once you get Seismitoad-ex running and you limit the number of item cards that your opponent can actually play on their Pokemon, this card can do a lot of damage over time, especially combined with a Muscle Band that's 50 damage, and if you play Burbank City Gym in combination with a Hypnotoxic Laser, you're going to be doing an additional 30 damage in between turns. And also the other very positive benefit, the positive uh, effect of that is that if your opponent is also running Hypnotoxic Lasers and you manage to attack them with your Seismitoad-ex first, they won't be able to use their Hypnotoxic Laser. So you'll be able to get the full benefits of using Hypnotoxic Laser in combination with Burbank City Gym, while your opponent is just going to be taking some very annoying hits over the duration of the game. So we're essentially going to be using Seismitoad-ex in combination with Yveltal-ex. This guy really doesn't need any explaining. He's a very powerful card. His Evil Ball attack is most likely what we're going to be using for the vast majority of the game, and his Y-Cyclone attack is also a very beneficial attack to have as well, simply because it allows us to relocate our energies and possibly, for example, power up one of our bench Pokemon. So yeah, these are the two guys that our deck is going to revolve around. Of course, we're going to be running Garbodor with his Garbotoxin attack to nullify all of our opponent's special abilities. So this is a very crucial card to have, especially if your opponent runs Sigilifs or Suicunes or just any Pokemon with Safeguard, and especially Pyroar, because this is essentially our only Pyroar, Sigilif, and it's mainly our only Pyroar counter. We are running some Yveltals, so these are very good cards to have, especially to counter Sigilif. Also, and to his Oblivion Wing attack will allow us to power up our bench Pokemon that much quicker. Darkrai EX is of course nice to have because of the fact that he has weakness. She has weakness to rock Pokemon, and a lot of players have currently realized that Yveltal EX is very popular with respects to the current rotation. So it's nice to have a Pokemon that has a bit of variability with respects to its weakness, and also his Dark Cloak attack can be very useful, especially if our Garbodor and Garbotoxin ability is not up and running. So yeah, these are more or less our Pokemon. We're also going to be running a Jirachi EX. So even though we are using a Garbodor and Garbotoxin, chances are that if you don't have it running, Jirachi EX is always going to come in very handy, especially as we can Ultra Ball to get him, and his special ability allows us to get any supporter cards that we may need. So that's Jirachi EX is definitely a very useful card to have in this type of deck. With respects to the trainer and item cards that we're going to be running, first of all, we're going to be running a total of 11 energies, with 4 of those being double colorless and 7 being dark, of course, because Yveltal-ex is going to be one of our main attackers in combination with Seismitoad-ex. I've already discussed the draw support, so I'm not really going to go into that. Lysander is pretty straightforward in that it allows us to drag out one of our opponent's bench Pokemon and knock them out, so it's always a very useful card to have in this type of deck. Skyla is just sort of that if we bring out a Jirachi EX and we're not necessarily looking for a supporter card, we can use Skyla and grab any item cards that we need. So that's always something useful to have. Floatstone is going to be attached to our Garbodor so that so his special can actually work and that we're able to retreat him if necessary. Also, the fact that if Garbodor is up and running, our Darkrai EX special is not going to work, so we may use Floatstone, for example, to attach to any of our other Pokemon in case we need to retreat them. Muscle Band is pretty self-explanatory. We're actually going to be using 4 Crushing Hammers today because our Seismitoad-ex, what we're trying to do is we're trying to pound our opponent's Pokemon and we're trying to Crushing Hammer and discard their energy so that they absolutely can't do anything to our Seismitoad-ex since their item cards will be nullified. So this I think is going to be a pretty effective and very deadly strategy, especially because with 4 Crushing Hammers, chances are that we're going to, at the very least, on a 50% basis, discard 2 of our opponent's energies, and it just helps slow down the opponent while we manage to accumulate damage on our opponent's Pokemon. Dowsing Machines, all again, a pretty self-explanatory card, very useful to have in this type of deck in case we've given up a good trainer card early on in the game, and we use our Dowsing Machine to go ahead and pick it back up and use that very important trainer card that we may have discarded. So yeah, a Dowsing Machine, definitely a card that I recommend in this type of deck. Another card that we're actually going to be running is Max Potion. So Max Potion is more so for a bit of a surprise factor that I like to add. Not a lot of people tend to run Max Potion in their Yveltal-ex decks, but I find it extremely useful, and it definitely saved me a couple of times. So we are going to be running this card. I think that's more or less a basic breakdown of the cards that we're going to be running. Professor's Letter is, since we're only running a total of 11 energies in our deck, will allow us to get any Crucial Darkness energies should we need it. So yeah, that's more or less a breakdown of the deck. I'm going to ask one of my friends for a challenge, and let's see how this deck goes. So let's see. Okay, looks like I've received a challenge. Um, this this is actually for another tournament, so you know what? I'm going to ignore this for the time being, and I'm actually going to challenge another one of my friends in the current standard format. So let me just tell him that right now. Okay, so sorry, this is actually a tournament that I'm participating at. I want to apologize to you guys that that's actually one of my opponents for the tournament, and okay, so I'm going to challenge another one of my friends. So I'm going to challenge another one of my friends right now, since that's actually an unlimited deck challenge that our opponent wants to do, and right now we are using a standard deck. So he's actually someone who recently added me. This song is very good, so let's go right ahead and challenge him. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully he's free right now, and we're actually able to challenge him, because just to show you guys what this deck is made out of. So okay, let me go right ahead and actually send him a challenge. Sorry, I always seem to go over the player's name. Okay, so he's right over here. He's right over here, and this is the deck that we're using today. So I am going to send him a challenge right now, and let's see what this deck is made out of. Also, I want to say good luck to everybody in the giveaway, and hopefully I'll be able to start editing the part out where I actually find my opponent. I apologize to you guys if this is actually somewhat annoying, and I've never actually played this opponent before, but he tells me he's good, so let's hope that he is, and let's see how this battle goes. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be starting off with an Yveltal-ex, and let's go right ahead and put one on our bench as well, and let's see what our opponent's. Okay, I don't think our opponent is very good actually. I think he may have been boosting, but let's see. Hopefully he can give us at least a bit of a challenge. But yeah, I don't see a lot of people using Diglett or Ralts, so I have absolutely no idea what type of combination or strategy our opponent is going to be using at us. He told me he was undefeated. I don't know if that's actually true, but I think that this is going to be a pretty easy battle, in all honesty. Which is definitely okay. He's telling us he's undefeated. I don't know whether or not I should actually believe that. We're going to go right ahead and end our turn right now. So if we don't manage to draw a energy card during our next turn, I'm just going to colorless and hope that we're able to get a good card. So looks like our opponent is running a Gallade. These are not typical Pokemon that you see, but who knows? Our opponent may be pretty good. I may be underestimating him, and let's see how this goes. So okay, looks like our opponent was not able to paralyze us with his Nerve Shot attack. So let's go right ahead and Hypnotoxic Laser him. Attach a Darkness Energy to our Yveltal-ex, and let's Colress for a new hand. Okay, so perfect. So it looks like we've drawn an end, so that might come in handy next turn. So hopefully we can get some more bench Pokemon up and going. And let's go ahead and attack for 100 damage. And our opponent is telling us that he is a liar. Okay, then. Okay, so it seems that this is probably going to be an easy match. I don't know. Maybe our opponent will be able to pull out something special from their sleeves. But yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize to my viewers if this match isn't exactly what you were hoping for. But nonetheless, I do want to say that the deck that I'm using right now is very, very good. It's extremely powerful, and once you get it going, it can do a lot of damage. So see what our opponent's doing right now. I'm feeling very iffy. Well, feeling very iffy about how good he actually is, and he just told me that he had lied. So let's start ahead and start powering up our Yveltal-ex on the bench. Let's end for a new set of cards in our hand. And okay, so I'm not going to attach a muscle band or anything like that right now. I feel like that's pretty pointless. So let's go right ahead and Evil Ball for another. Actually, I think Y-Cyclone might be more useful right now in case our opponent manages to knock out our Yveltal-ex next turn. So let's Y-Cyclone and bring over our double colorless energy to our other Yveltal-ex and draw one prize card. Okay, so I don't foresee his Dodrio managing to knock us out, especially because Yveltal-ex has rock resistance. So let's see what he does. Oh, and looks like he actually brought out his other Dodrio. So okay, I'm not too sure what our opponent's doing right now. It looks like he runs some sorts of Miltank and Gallade combination. But yeah, I feel like more or less this game is going to be ours. This shouldn't be too much of a challenge. So let's go right ahead and attach a double colorless energy. So right now we would be able to hit for 100 damage, and the Dodrio has 120 HP due to the training center. So let's go right ahead and attach a muscle band to him. Place our Trubbish down and go for another one-hit knockout. Okay, let's draw a prize card, and it looks like we are most likely going to win this battle. Okay, so our opponent attaches rock energy to Miltank, and it looks like he ends us for a new set of hand cards, which is fine because we have a Professor Juniper. So in case we're not too pleased with our with the cards at hand, we can always easily draw a new set of hand cards. It looks like our opponent is drawing a ton of cards, and he only has 15 remaining cards in his deck at the moment. So yeah, but I feel like this is going to be a relatively easy game, and unfortunately it's not really going to show the power of the Yveltal-ex and Seismitoad-ex deck. But you know what? It's okay. We're we're still showing you guys. I'm still showing you guys just how powerful the deck this can be. And if only our opponent was slightly more experienced, this would be a better demonstration. So I do apologize for that. But you know what? He told me that he was very good and undefeated, and it looks like he was lying about that. So let's go right ahead and attach a Darkness Energy to our Yveltal-ex, and let's go right ahead and knock out that Miltank with another Evil Ball attack. Okay, so our opponent's able to bring out his Dodrio, which he decides not to. He would have been able to one-hit to one hit our Yveltal EX and send him to our discard pile. But looks like that's not really something our opponent is looking to do. And yeah, looks like this game is going to be ours. Or his milk tank will actually be able to knock us out because I believe he's going to evolve his routes into a Gallade. Yes, and his milk tank will be able to hit us for 80 damage to knock out our Yveltal EX. Nonetheless, though, our opponent, I don't foresee him getting too far in this game, and this is still going to be a relatively easy win for us. Alright, I'm also going to just record my fight with my other fight with the in the tournament that I'm currently in. I don't know, in case you guys want to watch it, that's fine. I'm also going to be probably using some sort of Yveltal EX deck, but then again, it is an unlimited deck, so I'm not sure how useful that's going to be. And thank you for commenting on my sleeves, although this is free. And alright, I do want to mention this, that if you guys are actually subscribed to the newsletter, you would have actually received one of these sleeves absolutely free. So definitely, I think you guys should subscribe to the Pokemon newsletter because they'll send you some pretty cool, neat stuff from time to time. So with that, let's go right ahead and start powering up our Yveltal at bench. I don't really need anything right now. Our Burbank City Gym now, that's fine. Our opponent, I don't mind too much at the moment that his Pokemon have additional HP. So let's go right ahead and one hit KO that Milk Tank and draw another prize card. And yeah, looks like we are going to win. I'm also just going to keep recording my battle versus the Unlimited tournament that I'm currently in. By the way, I do recommend you guys check out the Pokemon forums because there's always some neat tournaments and things like that going on there. And I'm currently a part of many tournaments. I'm also part of the of an Elite Four challenge. I'm actually one of the Elite Four members, and you guys can challenge me and take a crack at me. So that's always something pretty neat. And hopefully, I wish you guys the best of luck if that is something you guys choose to do. Once again, this Dugtrio is going to be one hit knocked out by our Yveltal EX. So let's go right ahead and attach another energy to our Yveltal. And let's go ahead and attack our opponent's Pokemon with, actually I'm going to be using a Y Cyclone because it looks like our Yveltal EX might be knocked out next turn. And I'm going to attach a Burbank City Gym to lower our opponent's Dugtrio's HP. So let's go right ahead and do that. And Y Cyclone for the knockout and bring one of our Darkness Energy to power up our Yveltal. Okay, so it looks like we are going to win. I don't foresee any way that our opponent can actually go about defeating us now. But yeah, my apologies, guys, that this game, our opponent wasn't as powerful as I had believed him to be. But yeah, it looks like we are going to win next turn, as I'm going to use a dowsing machine to pick up our Burbank City Gym and get rid of this trainer card that is allowing our opponent to have additional HP with respect to their evolution Pokemon. So let's go right ahead and bring out the Yveltal, and let's go right ahead and grab ourselves a Burbank City Gym and go for a one-hit knockout once again. Good game, my friend, and next time please don't lie to me about how good you actually are. So let's go right ahead and do a Darkness Blade. Yeah, you know what, you had 2 remaining prize cards. So yeah, but anyways, looks like we've won the game, and I'm going to continue recording. It's absolutely understandable if you guys don't want to watch this any further, but okay, so I am going to be fighting an unlimited match right now, and okay, so hopefully this matchup will be more interesting to you guys. It is a tournament. I have absolutely no idea how tough our opponent is, but yeah. So let's see what he's doing right now. Not too sure if he's actually here. I'm actually gonna send him a challenge myself then. And okay. So let me go ahead and grab one of my darkness decks. Let's see. No, which deck am I looking for right now? Dark deck unlimited, and let's go right ahead and challenge Apsobus. And let's see how this goes. So yeah, if you guys don't want to watch any further, that's absolutely understandable. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck in the upcoming giveaway that I have. And I'm not too sure why he didn't accept my challenge. Okay. So I don't know if he just went offline right now, or let me try and send him another challenge right now. I have no idea what this guy is doing right now. Okay, so I think I'm actually gonna cut this off right now, and I am going to stop the recording. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon. And good luck in the giveaway.